Hello everyone, welcome back to Rare of the Week. In this week's episode I'm going to be looking over the Ki-94-II, which is a Japanese Tier 4 fighter aircraft with a rating of 5.7 in realistic battles. So this aircraft was given out in last year's Operation Summer as the top aviation prize. Well anyway, to start off, let's go and look at the stat card and compare it with other similar aircraft. We're going to be comparing the Ki-94-II with the P-47M1 and the S.U.M.E.R. Let's start off by looking at the armament of these three aircraft. So first off, the Ki-94-II has got two 30mm cannons with 200 rounds of ammunition, and then it also has two 20mm cannons with 400 rounds of ammunition. The P-47M has got 8 12.7mm Browning machine guns with 3,400 rounds of ammunition, and then the S.U.M.E.R has got 6 20mm cannons with 1,500 rounds of ammunition. Next up is of course to take a look at the performance of the aircraft. So to start off with the maximum speed, the Ki-94-II is slower than both the P-47 and the S.U.M.E.R, although once you move on to maximum altitude it beats them both out by quite a large margin. Turn time, the Ki-94-II is slower in terms of turn time than the P-47M by 0.1 seconds, although it is then faster than the S.U.M.E.R by 0.9, so it is in the middle for turn time. Next up is rate of climb, where it is the exact same rate of climb as the P-47M, sitting at 15.9 meters per second, although unfortunately they are both beaten out by the S.U.M.E.R by 0.1 meters per second, with that sitting at 16 meters per second. I'm not really going to go into takeoff run because that isn't entirely relevant, but to put it bluntly, the Ki-94-II is in the middle of the three, with the P-47M having the shortest takeoff run and the S.U.M.E.R having the longest. Well anyway, now that we have looked at the stat card, let's move on to the customization options. So to start off, we have this standard green camouflage. The front section of the aircraft is black and the underside is that sort of orangey yellow. Relatively plain camouflage, not really much going on, so there's not really much to say about this camouflage. There is a second camouflage for the aircraft, which we're going to look at now. It's sort of a silver base paint colour with sort of green, dark green spots. There are red sections around the aircraft which do brighten it up, and then there are white stripes where the roundels are, so it's quite an interesting paint scheme, and this is the scheme that I prefer out of the two. Well, now that we looked at that, let's go and look at the battle tactics for this aircraft. A big tip I would give for this aircraft is to, at the beginning of every single game, climb to altitude. This is a perfect place to either go to bomber hunting or to start off boom and zoom attacks, which are the main tactics you want to use with this aircraft. It's a very big and heavy aircraft, so you definitely do not want to be using it as a dogfighter. You want to be doing boom and zoom attacks and then trying to get away from the enemies and then coming back in doing another boom and zoom. Now you do want to be very careful to not fly down into an area heavily populated by enemy aircraft, because if you do, it's likely you're going to get swarmed after killing your first target, you won't be able to outmaneuver them and you'll die. Another thing is that the shots from these guns do travel rather slow compared to most machine guns, so you do want to be either rather close to your enemy or you want to be putting quite a bit of lead on your shots. Another thing to mention is head-on attacks. Now, while they may be necessary at some points, I would advise only as a last resort, because if you go head-on with someone, yes, your guns are good and you will kill them, but it's highly likely that your aircraft will be set on fire or destroyed as well, purely because most Japanese aircraft do end up being set on fire. Another thing is, if you're doing a boom and zoom attack, you might be going too fast and you might fly into your enemy targets, so do be very careful to avoid doing that. But anyway, there we go, so that was the overview of the Ki-94-II. Overall, this video has summed up most of the major things you need to know about the aircraft. It was released originally last year, so it is highly likely that it won't be available for quite a while yet, if at all. Because it's a relatively recent event, they're probably not going to give it out for at least a year, but you never know, maybe in a future event it'll be a sort of separate prize or something like that. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video. If you did enjoy it, please consider leaving a like. Maybe even subscribe to the channel. If you do, that would be very much appreciated. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.